Hey Capricorn, how's it going? Welcome to your reading. So, today we're going to be looking at your transformation. Um, Huge transformation going on within the zodiacs if you've been following along. Today it's your turn. Um, we're going to be looking at, if you're not aware, we're going to be looking at these with one from the Prism Oracle, one card from the Hermetic Tarot, Knight of Pentacles. Taking some steps. Feels like work too. I literally just came back from work, so that Knight of Pentacles, like the sowing the seed, is what it kind of feels like. And then one from the lenormand. I dropped the Prism Oracle. I like dropped it by mistake. A second ago, I was so pissed that I forgot about it for like a few minutes, and I was like, "Where's the Prism Oracle?" And I realized it was on the ground. And when I looked on the ground, these were the two cards that fell out. Had to take. I mean, those are the ones that were face up. Magic feels like you guys. This Capricorn is like the wizard warlock of the zodiac, so it's so cool how those two came out. So something about some magic you guys are working on. Knight of Pentacles and magic. That's pretty cool. Anyways, we're gonna get into your reading. I'm gonna look at the past, the present, your transformation, and then the future. And I'm excited because like I love Cap energy. It's my moon sign, so it's hometown. So I really do love being here. So let's see what we got going on. Any returning Capricorns? Good to see you. Any new Capricorns? I love to see you. Hope you continue to come back. Let's get into this. So what is in the present or the past for Capricorn with the Prism Oracle? This one was on the bottom. I don't know if you saw it. This one was on the bottom the whole time. Creativity. I heard spark at first, but like maybe some sparks. A light bulb idea, a moment, illumination, pieces coming together. And this is just as purple as the magic card too. So not just working on your own, but working with maybe guides or things higher than you. Could be like physical, real people, or like spiritual guides. You know what I'm saying? But really creative in the past. Maybe putting some project together, working on something with a team possibly, but an individual light bulb moment, like you are standing out for something creatively. Oh. I saw anger on the bottom, so maybe a creative solution to dealing with anger. What do we have in the present for Capricorn? Yep. Come on. Just come on out. If you haven't been following along, this card, because we're talking about your transformation, which would be like a rebirth, but it's still like a death and rebirth process. You can't rebirth without the death. And this is in your present. That's amazing. It feels like you're like on track with something. Look at that moon. And then look at that dot. They're both like, it's feeling like thoughts connected with your because the moon's subconscious. So like really being here physically and being present, but being still so connected to like a subconscious part of you, being connected to some magic you're tapping into from like inside. And it's interesting with the death and present. You see these two parallel lines? It's like you are literally jumping from like one, because with the death and rebirth, you're like on one timeline, and the way you're transforming yourself in the present, you've moved on to a whole new timeline. At the same time, this is like the story that you put on someone's tombstone, so it's like it's important. So something you're doing right now is so like it's really important to the story of who you are. Wow, death in the present. And just right out the gate. What do we have in your transformation? That's funny. It's only funny because, like, death is here. I don't usually like this card, but ghost. Death and then ghost. I had to laugh because it reminds me of, do you remember the guy who came right before the hatchling slasher in SpongeBob? The guy who had the spatula, and he was like, "Oh, I was actually coming." I think he was like looking for a job. Yeah, he was. So this could be about a job. Maybe you're looking for a job. This is your transformation too. One thing I saw is taking the costume off because this feels like a ghost costume. So it's like, it feels like trying to because look at this, because you know in death how I just said two different like timelines, so maybe it's like now you're a ghost to a certain timeline. You are, my throat is so, excuse me, what the hell? It's like, you know how ghosts would presumably exist on a different plane, like on their own like ghostly plane or whatever. It's like you are now existing on a different sort of plane, and maybe you don't. There's a few things I'm feeling. Maybe you had to leave some people behind. Maybe you're having to get acquainted to a new type of existence. The ghost is interesting here in the transformation because the transformation is supposed to be something super impactful. It has to be, the card that comes out is like amplified and contorted, and it's like a whole different type of story with the card because it's the transformation. It's supposed to be something very important. So with ghost, it's just so interesting. It's so interesting. Excuse me, but I don't know what is scratching my throat, but every time it goes away, it comes back, and I'm like, I didn't even, all I did was talk. I want to let it go, but I can't. Want to let it go, but I can't. And I think about that, and I think about ghosts. Ghosts sometimes have a hard time letting go of the physical plane. So this isn't like you're not actually dying, of course. But what I'm seeing is like you're on a different level of existence, and it's hard to let go of maybe another type of, like, this is like these parallel existences, so they could literally be sort of, so it's like maybe you're on it, you're just having to make new types of choices, get acquainted to a new type of existence. We'll move past. What do we have at the bottom? Growth. Yeah, it's literally like you may be growing and other people may not be, but it's like these are just off of, you're growing based off of the moves that you're individually making. So it's not truly your fault if no one else is making those moves, and it's like maybe you're just going in a direction that's, I don't know how to say it. So, you know, everyone will make the moves they need to get to where they need to. I don't know. There are so many different circumstances, and I don't want to assume just for everybody. Let's see what we have in the future. You're definitely just growing. What's in the future? It's the second time Stop and Reverse has come out. Is it all reverse? A productive pause. A very important pause. It just, I missed it. I know I did miss it the last time, and I said these were crossing. They're not just crossing, they're perpendicular. So the reason why that's important is because it's the midpoint that's so important. It's because these things come into context. So maybe in the future, we'll have to get into that with tarot. Maybe you come to, because I remember with this card, it's always like this X, this decision, this meeting point. There could be a meeting point. It's just so much more about like the choice you make when you come to the stop sign. I think there's a choice in the future. I don't know why Stop wants to come out so much. I see space at the bottom. Stop wants to come out, but then not give me any information on what it. It's definitely an individual choice. It's just so much more about like, are you going to make this choice based off of who you've always been or who you're trying to be? And I don't know if that's the same person, because with the death process and death being a ghost, it's like maybe you have been wearing sort of a costume, which is like, you know, a costume for any reason to survive. Maybe could be built out of ego, but either way, it's like it has its. I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be a bad thing. It's understandable. Stop in the future. And oh, I forget, it's a red card, and reds are about the root. So it's about making a decision, getting to the root of yourself. What matters to you? What's important? What kind of life do you want to live? Tarot's gonna clarify that. We're gonna get into tarot now before my head flies off. I'm like, what? Cheeky. Stop with protection. Okay. Right. Ooh, it's kind of a bit of a gift now because it's like, it's a stop sign. And I mean, hey, you realize stop signs are protections for us hitting each other. And the reason why we have them is because we all can't come to a decision to like scream outside of our car like, hey, I'm gonna stop, or you know, it's just a lot better to have a system in place. So there might be a system in place where it's a pause and a stop for a reason. It's for your protection. But you are being protected. Okay. Let's see what we have. Uh-oh. The Emperor wants to fly out. What do we have with creativity in the past? The Nine of Pentacles. That is Venus, Virgo. Yeah, it's like you creatively found a way to like free yourself from something, and this would be the Death card in like the Lenormand. So it's like you found a way to transform something on your own, bring in stability for yourself. Like you also closed out some kind of an old cycle too. Ooh, and this is like the 10th pentacle. Ooh, it's like you're trying to figure out where to go. So I think you've definitely solved something. With the pentacles here, I think of Earth now, and if I know it's not the entire meaning, but I think of Earth and 9 is a singular number. So maybe maybe separating yourself from other people, in a sense where it's like being an individual on this Earth, and not like moving according, like not basing your values and not basing your sovereignty off of other people. But I believe there may have been a problem where you were sort of wrapped around other people and it took your sovereignty, but you found a creative solution out of it, and you're definitely in your own sort of an individual mindset now. You're free. You are with Virgo. You could be analyzing your values, really getting to the heart of what matters to you. And material gain, material girl, look at that. Something you did creatively has put you in a position to be like very financially stable. And Knight of Pentacles, it feels like it's not passive, but it could almost be passive, where it's like it's something so easy to you, something you not only want, like not only something not only you make money out of, but like something that's creative and it like speaks to you, where it's like it's fun. Virgo, you probably learned something. You probably like the system. What do we have with death in the present? Yeah, it feels like a system that you like, and it's also kind of freeing. it? I don't know. That's nice. Death. What's up with death in the present? The Hierophant. Yes, values, structures. It's like leaving a whole establishment from one to another one. And so with these two now, I feel like 2 years possibly. Maybe 2 years with an establishment and leaving them completely. Maybe 2 years of not being with an establishment and being in one. The Hierophant. Death. Uh-oh. In your present, it's like, what's at the bottom? You guys, hello, welcome to your reading. Devil, I like, and this is a 5, and this is a 6. You are becoming your own type of leader, for sure. You could have been held under someone else's establishment, someone else's rule, someone else's rule for sure. Because with the Hierophant and the Devil, these both rule things. They both control. They both have establishments. They both have hierarchies. So it's interesting. Because this is you. And I like that. Because this is a 5 to a 6. So it's like you definitely, like, you saw this, and 5 is about change too. And the reason why we make change in the first place is because we want usually better or worse for ourselves. You can go either way, but it's like you probably want it better for your own self, yourself. So analyzing your values, changing yourself, not changing, but like it's change, but it's change for the better. You know, it's growth. Because you're changing more into your own natural self, and that's what I feel here. Sort of this animalistic, but still like very natural. And this becomes a 6 with this 15. And I think it's just definitely a transformation with death, because it's death to an old system. It's death to an old version of you. Something had to change. And with the moon, I have to speak on it. With the moon here in the death card, and then you have the elephant here. Elephants, a lot of the time symbolize like very deep, very like they hold so much emotion, like water, and they can represent like a long-term emotional memory, like things that you can remember that make your heart feel good, that you can remember from like years ago, like elementary, like random things you remember because it had an emotional. Like something that stuck with you emotionally, and that's what the elephant can represent a lot. So I feel like with death and the subconscious, it's like this is a part of you that really touches your heart. It could be like an inner child sort of thing, but it's a part of you that wants to be free and knows what it wants, right? And that's what the devil is. It knows what it wants. It's not that scary. It's only scary when people don't know what they want. That's why so many people are fucking scared of the devil card. So, it's just like you know what you want in the present, and you're really making that. What's trying to fall out? Temperance and Judgment. Okay. Which 14 in Judgment, right? You've balanced yourself out, and that's 14 that which moves on to 15. Once you balance yourself out, you find that equilibrium because you're pouring back and forth. This part of me, this part of me, this part of me. You come into a balance. Judgment. You make a decision, and you come into your full, complete self. Sure, you may be under someone's rule, but your soul, who you are, your decisions, your values, it's not based off of someone else. Maybe that check is, but that soul is not, you know. And, you know, again, with the devil, there are parts of the world that we still have to abide by. So if you want that check, sometimes you got to put in the work, but don't give up your values. What do we have with the ghost in your transformation? Not major arcana, but the Knight of Wands. With the Page of Cups. Okay. They said this transformation is going to be interesting for me today. Ghost and the Knight of Wands. You could feel like you're in a bit of a Bordeaux because, and I think the cards are speaking directly to me because this is what I'm feeling. So I'm sorry, but I'm thinking Teen Wolf, and I'm thinking the Ghost Riders, right? Sorry, but this is exactly what like it. It's the only thing that's speaking to me. So it's like the Ghost Riders, and when I think of the Ghost Riders, what they do is they take folks and they hold them in like a holding spot, and they sort of just sit in a limbo, and they just like they think they're alive, but they're not really alive. So it's like you're maybe in a bit of a limbo, possibly. Hmm. I don't want to say bringing yourself back to life, but it's just maybe in a bit of a limbo, and this transformation is like what is that? That's Scorpio and Sagittarius. So the roots, learning. This could be about lessons from your childhood. This could also be about with Scorpio. Mm, maybe trying to explain like this death process could be about. I mean, this transformation is like just one moment. I'm so sorry. So, yes, give me one second. If you're gonna please take that away from there. Guys, you stumped me a little bit. Um, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Death and rebirth, learning and teaching, being the ghost. I think you're in this limbo, but something's bringing you out, something's pulling you out, and it's charging you up. And what it's doing is like it's like this something's expanding you. I think this death process, under like being in this death process and being so aware of it, even I think you're aware of it. And because now I'm thinking of the Ghost Riders again, it's like you're not one of those regular townspeople. Somehow you're like Styles, you're Dylan O'Brien. You became aware of where you are, and so I mean, there's teaching, and there's going to be like teaching and learning from this process. Like the more you learn, the more you're going to be able to teach. But it's just you're so aware of it, and I think that's a huge part. And I think what the transformation is going to bring out is someone who's going to be able, like you're going to be able to ride in with this flame and this lightning, as it says on this card, and you're going to like charge through with the message. But you're in this limbo, and you're aware of it. I think that's what's going to make the teaching, or like the maybe you have a message, maybe you have something to share. That's so cool. I think transformation is not only that, but like escaping that Bordeaux. Like once you're aware of what you who and what you are, once you're aware of who the hell you are, you're like you're riding out of that, like on that storm. That is a little confusing, but very, very cool. Because with Scorpio and Sagittarius, definitely it's like death, rebirth, and when you're back to life, boom. As soon as you're back to life, boom. There's like something you aim towards, you shoot towards, and everywhere that you go, you leave an imprint. That's huge. Maybe being the ghost also, you could have, I don't know, worrying some people, or just not as available to some people, but Not for long. I think as soon as you come through this and know exactly who you are and what you want, you're gonna probably be a bit more available. Okay, so what do we have in the future with stop and protection? Why do we have stop and protection here? What's that about? The Queen of Swords, cutting the head off of something. And when I think of that, it may be a bit of ego, because when I think of her, I think of this beast, this monster, and it's sort of from within. So I think this is like just one moment, I'm so sorry. What if he knows tarot if I didn't get up and walk away every 5 seconds? Had to go turn something a little bit down. Maybe I'm having a bit of an ego death process as well, having to let go. But in the future, there's some sort of a beast, some sort of monster, some sort of thing with them possibly they're having to cut off to make this decision. The Queen of Swords has to be of sound mind and level emotion, because she can be a bit out of sorts if either is imbalanced. But with stopping the Queen of Swords and protection, this could be angelic protection, where it's like you're having to make a decision, you're getting guided through it. It's Virgo and then Libra. She feels like the protection, 100%. But the stop here, too. I think the Queen of Swords is going to help you make the best decisions that align with who you are. I feel like you could possibly fall back into making decisions that aren't aligned with who you are. Maybe out of protecting yourself. Maybe out of stopping yourself from a lot of things. But I think it's definitely just like cutting the head off like fears. Cutting the head off of fears, cutting the head off of your ego, cutting the head off of things that stop you from truly being who you are. So I see a lot of value and a lot of self-value. I see a lot of self-structure, a lot of self-rulership, but I see that you could possibly be like on like some sort of old timeline. You were probably ruled by a lot more than you wanted to. A lot of things that ruled your values and such. But I think in the future it's a very huge protecting moment, because it's cutting the head off of things that maybe disorganized you, things that disrupted your values. So this is important, because this is so much about being yourself, no matter what, because your whole structure and your whole foundation is ruled by who you are. Is so important. And it's important to showcase that, because you have something to spread, something to teach, something that's important that people need. And something that you've learned from yourself. So I mean, just one moment. Just ignore it. I can't stop. It's too much time. Okay. We're into the lenormand now. check out the creativity and the Nine of Pentacles in the present. Well, first of all, because I can't on my natural Aries energy and I try to be cool and level-headed. It's who I am. I'm gonna try though. You put Aries, Sun, and Capricorn moon together, and it's difficult, babe. It really is. I will light this stuff because it smells good. Nine of Pentacles and creativity. Tower. 19. Yes, this is an institution. This feels like leaving an old job for a new one, but at the same time, it's leaving it feels like someone, this is an institution, literally had its hands on you, on your soul, not gripping your hips in the cool and the sexy way, but gripping your soul in the unsexy, don't be yourself way. And even if they didn't verbally tell you to not be yourself, it was like just the way that the organization was run, it didn't match, it didn't align with you. So you're moving forward from it with the Six of Swords. You already moved forward. That's beautiful. Get that in your past, and that's awesome. The 19 is like the sun. You have clarity. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know your values. What do we have with death and the Hierophant? The moon. Because we did talk about the moon in the death card, did we not? Yes, this is deeply emotional because it's about yourself. This is about first of all, the phases of time. So in the present, you're probably at a phase, and I stopped right here. So you're probably, what is that right there? That's the full moon. You're at a full, clear awareness. And this is a full moon too right here. So in the Hierophant, I'm thinking moon in Taurus, but now I'm thinking like, and also moon in, because Earth, so moon in Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. And the Eight of Cups, distance. So it's like, yeah, distance to get back to your values. And this has been a death process because maybe you realize just how much of yourself that you weren't, how much of other people was glommed onto you. But this is very alone. This is dark, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's for a very important reason. It means you care about yourself with that 5. Oh man. So I also just see in the present with the moon and the Hierophant and death. It just feels like, yeah, it just feels like, imagine just like nighttime, and this is so comfortable to me, so I can definitely imagine this just like nighttime, and it's just like, ooh, you see, it's just like him, he's in his quarters. It's almost giving me like hermit energy, so again Virgo, but like he's in his quarters, he's just writing, he's figuring stuff out, maybe going diving deep into some random stuff, but it's comfortable because like it's stuff that is so important, has value, has weight. You emotionally probably really care about this sort of a study. It feeds you, it gets you back to like, it not only gets you back to yourself, but it adds new layers to you. Huge death process. Maybe again a death process with the moon because you're reflecting and realizing, oh, maybe I'm really not the person I've made myself out to be. Maybe I really do need to clearly express myself and my values and who I am and what I stand for in the most authentic way. So it's been some time, just some processing to yourself, deeply looking into yourself. What's with the ghosts and the Knight of Wands? Please, Lenormand. Please. I'd clarify. The ring. The Ace of Wands with the Knight of Wands. Wow. The Ace of Wands would be given to the Knight of Wands. Ooh. Okay. So as much as I don't, I first feel like I'm trying not to, but I first feel just like maybe like if there's a bit of ghosting situation, there's probably someone coming back with some commitment. I don't always like to say that because maybe it's you take what feels most necessary, but the only way that that would be happening is if you, because like you then would be this ghost, and maybe just someone's looking for you. But in this transformation, it can't be just like that. It can be, but I feel more so it's like the ghost with the ring, the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands would be given this wand. He'd be given this ring, this commitment. So it's probably definitely because you were in this limbo, and part of that death process, the very last part of that death process is the acceptance, I believe, or the grief process, I should say. But it's like maybe you accepted this limbo, and because you accepted it, you became aware of it, and because you worked through that, you were given this gift. And this is about the self. The 2 and the 5, it's relationships in yourself, your relationship to yourself. So it's like because you committed to yourself and you allow this death process, this huge gift for you. It's so huge because you committed to yourself. And that's going to probably show externally, where someone's going to commit to you, whether familial, whether work relationships, whether a romantic relationship. It's probably going to reflect, if not one, in all of those ways. There's a ring, and it's not that loud, but it's hitting my ear. So I think that's for sure. It's going to reflect in like all those ways. But the ghost and the ring, you did go. You Danny Phantom those hoes because you really cared about yourself. That was important. You needed to go ghost. And I think that if you did go ghost, you still kept at least a bit of a flame with all this fire. You at least like kept up a bit, but you really committed to yourself. That's so important. That's so beautiful. And this is a gift. And I'm like, and it's in the transformation, so I think a beautiful relationship is around the corner for you. I really feel that. So what do we have with the Queen of Swords? Stop and protection. Why is the Queen of Swords over here telling you to stop? What she got for you? The Sun. After the Moon. The Ace of Pentacles. There's a new beginning. Time. Down here. Things do take time. So maybe pausing, waiting for the right time to move forward on something. But then also with the Sun and stop. It's telling you to take a pause because first of all, this is a 100% victory card with this deck, so it's like there's no reason for you to push too hard because you already have the victory. But the Sun is just a lot more than that. A lot more than that. There's an opportunity, and opportunities sometimes come with lessons. Like you want to go to the next grade, you have to learn before that. So I think there's a lesson, a prerequisite. There's something to learn. It may take a little bit of time. It may not. And I'm seeing the shadow here too. So it could be something about looking at your shadow aspects, like lining them up. Letting every aspect of you catch up with yourself. There's a lesson within like being really clear and honest and authentic with yourself. And the Sun, again, I talked about the ego with the head being cut off, so maybe really cutting off shedding an ego to come out as a beautiful, authentic, radiant Sun. So there could be something that just stops you and breaks your protection because it probably goes, because if you're being Capricorn, if you're not being yourself, because Capricorn is so magnetic and so attractive within like how they work and just how you guys work to just bring stuff in. It's like you're gonna manifest whatever it is that you are. So if you are being inauthentic, if you are being a version of yourself that you're not, and you manifest stuff that you don't want, I mean, like, you manifest what you want. So if you want an opportunity, you're going to have to learn a lesson to be that opportunity yourself. You're going to have to learn to be what it is that you want instead of being. I hope that makes sense. It's like I'm running in circles with these words. I'm trying not to. So it could feel like running in circles because, again, like if you thought you'd be somewhere, but or you keep having to run circles in yourself. But the best way to get out of that circle is to just be completely authentic. That's the best way I can not spend 5 years trying to word it. Either ways. Yeah, things do take a little bit of time. And there's a direction you're moving into. Let us see what we have for your last advice. Your last advice for this transformation. This is really interesting. Last advice. The 15, the bear, which is so funny because the 15 is the devil card. Be gentle with yourself, first of all. This is 10 of Wands. If the burden, what's the burden? Does it show the deck? Oh no, but it shows a brand new birth, a brand new beginning after you. Ooh, and they just feel very, feels very watery. But 10 of Wands, yes. It could probably feel like a lot to try to be yourself, but then also hold on your back, trying to be other things for other people. So I think what this is like, because also maybe it's just like not being able to fully be yourself, and that can be a burden because you're having to now hold the responsibility of being someone else for someone else. So it's like you're letting go of this. You're just gonna be yourself, you know. I think that's the most freeing thing. Imagine this bear was like, oh, I got friends who swim in lava, so I'm gonna go swim in lava. That bear would be in pain, you know. I wouldn't even have to say it. Anything would be in pain. I don't know what's swimming in lava, but you know what I'm saying. It's not the environment if the bear was natural in it, but the bear wanted to move in order to uphold values, be a part of the group, you know. And that's not a bad thing, but you don't have to be anyone else for anyone else. It may seem like that, but because sometimes when you are yourself, it may not just rub the right way with everybody. But that's not what it's That's not what you're supposed to do. You'll rub the right way with the people you're supposed to rub the right way with, and you'll find those people. And once you find it, you're just gonna be like, oh my god, and you're going to find that. Oh, I know you're gonna find that. That's beautiful, Capricorn. Yeah, something's birthing, like I said, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all the beautiful things. If you want a personal reading, emails down below for that. Other than that, YouTube's a fun place. It's a huge place. Go have fun. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Bye.